Hello and welcome back to another episode of Forever Spinning. This week we're looking at the 1991 post-hardcore masterpiece, Spiderland by Slint. Slint was formed in 1986 by guitarist and lead vocalist Brian McMahon, drummer Britt Walford, guitarist David Pajo, and bassist Ethan Buckler. McMahon and Walford grew up together in Louisville, Kentucky, and actually ended up going to the same middle school, this causing them to play music a lot together from a young age. While McMahon went off and joined other rock projects, Walford met Pajo. Walford and Pajo then joined Buckler to make the group Small, Tight, Dirty Tufts of Hair. While playing their first show, majority of the crowd ended up leaving after the second song because they were so terrible. Later that summer, McMahon joined the group and they were renamed Slint. In 1987, their debut, Tweeze, was released under the production of Steve Albini. The debut received mixed reviews, being described as loud, noisy, and inconsistent. Buckler was not happy with the project or the direction of the band, so he left the group to form his own psychedelic rock group called King Kong. Buckler was replaced by Todd Brashear for the recording of their second and final studio album, Spiderland. Slint recorded Spiderland from August to October of 1990. The recording sessions are said to have been so traumatic and intense that one of the members had to be institutionalized in a psychiatric hospital afterwards. The band took a very narrative approach to songwriting, similar to the likes of Black Sabbath or Sonic Youth. Most of the lyrics are spoken, being backed with sharp guitar plucks and multiple transitions between loud and soft melodies. These heavy riffs and sudden changes made it distinguishable and fresh in comparison to the other similar acts at the time. Finally, on March 27, 1991, Spiderland was released on Touch and Go Records. Breadcrumb Trail is the opening track off this album. Telling the story of a young man who falls in love with a circus fortune teller, this song represents youthful nature and the inevitability of aging. The young man describes going on a roller coaster with the fortune teller. He explains his view at the top of the coaster by, quote, saying goodbye to the ground, unquote, and witnessing a miserable carny hand out tickets below. The metaphor of the roller coaster can be best represented as the young man and fortune teller having sex, describing the climax and ultimate downfall of the coaster. When the ride is over, the young man turns and sees the carny laughing and saying, quote, "Who told you that you could leave?" The carny's true purpose in this song is to display the effects of aging. The insightful lyrics along with the powerful instrumentals help to create a heart-wrenching view of aging. The third track on the album is Don, a Man. On this track, Don, the main character, steps outside of a party to collect himself. He yearns to be able to interact with other people at the party, but he feels like an outcast. This track mostly stands out because of its emotional instrumentation. The guitar and bass notes match up well with the lyrics to help create an anxious feeling in the listener. Finally, the end of the song sees the entrance of a loud and crashing guitar riff to help send the anxiety overboard and fill the scene with pure social terror. The final track off this classic LP is Good Morning Captain. At the first level of hearing this song, you hear the story of a captain who has lost everything. However, once you listen to the lyrics a little bit more closely, you can see that the song is actually about the loss of childhood. The captain sits on a shore with the remains of his destroyed ship and says, quote, "I'm the only one." This quote stands for the singer, McMahon, feeling like he is the only one left with the urgency to hold on to his childhood. Later in the song, the captain reaches out to a young boy and asks him for help, but the young boy doesn't know what to do. All in all, this track sums up the entire theme of the album, wistfully wishing for the impossible task of never leaving childhood while still attaining common social norms. To be completely honest, this album probably isn't going to click with everyone, but it's still an essential listen. The dark and ominous tones help to set up a remarkable atmosphere for the lyrics to tell an even deeper story of yearning to be youthful forever. This album also receives credit for reimagining the post-hardcore and math rock scenes. And while this album is by no means poppy, it still deserves an honest listen. So whether you've never heard this album before, or if it's a personal favorite, Spiderland by Slint will always be forever spinning. Happy listening.